Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to InDesign Live. My name is Terry White, Worldwide Design and Photography Evangelist for Adobe. It's my pleasure to be streaming to you live here on the Adobe properties for InDesign and to cover one of the topics that is kind of one of those neat little hidden gems inside of InDesign with the way it works with photo captions, or when you need to do layouts, especially if the photos are subject to change from time to time. So I see a few people in the chat already. Hello, Gabriel. Hello, Victoria. Welcome to the people that are popping in as I speak. And we'll get started in just a second here. I just want to make sure I can see the comments on the display here. Hello, Ken. How's it going? And looks like the stream's healthy and good. And we will just go ahead and jump right in. I see more people popping in. Hello, Germany. And hello, Lakita, if I'm saying that correctly. If I'm not saying that correctly, hello anyway. And welcome everyone. So I could spend more time saying hello, but I think we should probably go ahead and get to the content at hand for everyone that's here on time. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and switch to my computer display. And now that I'm on my computer display, as you can see, I have InDesign CC open with no new document. I thought I would do this completely from scratch. That way you guys can maybe pick up a couple of layout tips along the way, but also, of course, just in the thought process of what goes behind creating these photo captions. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a new document. It's going to ask me what kind of new document I want. It's, of course, got the default preset in there. I'm going to say that I want 2 pages. Facing pages is fine. I want them to be wide instead of tall. And I'm going to go ahead and create 2 columns on each page. I'm going to give the columns a nice wide gutter, 0.5 inches in between. And I'm going to reduce the amount of margin around the pages. So basic, simple setup. Now, because I'm creating 2 pages, when I click OK, and I said facing pages, what will happen is I won't have facing pages. I'll have page 1, and then I'll have page 2. And back in the old days, back in my day, one of the tricks you used to have to do if you just wanted a 2-page facing spread is you'd have to fake it. You'd have to create page 1 and then 2 and 3 next to each other so you could see them side by side. But that is not the case with InDesign. Let's go ahead and switch to the Pages panel. And now that I'm in the Pages panel, I'm just going to go ahead and say, just click on the flyout menu. I'm going to say, I'm going to turn off the Allow Document Pages to Shuffle, which is on by default. Once I turn that off, then I can go ahead and just move the pages and literally put them next to each other. So I don't need that empty blank page 1 to get a page 2 and 3 next to each other. I have now page 1 and 2 next to each other. So that way I don't have to worry about it. Okay, so now that I got page 1 and 2 next to each other, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a frame here. And I'm just going to go ahead and put that frame across the entire spread. And now that I got that frame across the entire spread, both pages 1 and 2, I'm going to go ahead and set an option for that frame to bring in my background photo. I'm just going to go to my, my fitting options, frame fitting options, and I'm just going to go ahead and choose fill frame proportionally. So that will just fill the frame even if it has to crop off some of the image. Now I need to go get the image that I want to put in there. And let's see, I think I moved that image around to a different folder. Let's see if I can still find it. And yep, there it is. Okay, I think that's the one I want. Yep, that's the one I want. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag and drop it, place it right in, and of course it does exactly what I told it to do. It goes in and it places it across both spreads, and it fills it proportionally so I don't have any white gaps or white space. And I see more people coming in. So hello, Detroit, UK, Egypt, and Pakistan, and people all over the world. And thanks, Oscar. I'm glad you like my work. Okay, so next thing I want to do is I don't want this image to be as in your face as it is right now. So I'm going to go ahead and simply reduce the opacity of it. So just go up here to the control panel. We're going to go ahead and drop the opacity down to, oh, I don't know, somewhere around 50%. Just kind of ghost it out in the background, because that's all it's going to be, is just going to be a background image. Now I'm going to go back to my Pages panel, which I closed for some reason. Let's go back to the Pages panel, and let's now go, remember we did all this on the master page, I believe, did I not? Ooh, I did not. I meant to do this on the master page. All right, so let's go ahead and select this frame. Let's cut it, and let's go to the master page now. This is where I meant to do this, and paste it. All right, we'll put that back in. That's where I meant to do it. That way, it's on all my pages going forward, and I won't accidentally touch it when I go back to the document page. All right, so step one would have been go to the master page, then draw the frame out, and then paste the picture, but I kind of rectified that by just pasting it back onto the master page. Okay, so now I can go back to page 1, or page 1 and 2 by them, together. And now that I'm here, I can go ahead and let's zoom out a little bit. And now I want to go ahead and close the Pages panel and put my first image frame in. We're going to do kind of the same thing. We're going to draw an image frame out. And now, I'm just arbitrarily drawing it. I could, of course, specify an exact size, but that's pretty much the size I want. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to set a frame option for that frame, so that when the images come into it, they're automatically sized. I don't have to think about it anymore. It will fill frame proportionally and center the content in the frame. All right, so now that I've done that, I can, instead of having to draw them out one by one, I can duplicate them so that I don't have to keep doing them from scratch. So I'm just going to hold down my Option or Alt key and drag one of those, hold down my Shift key so it drags it perfectly to the right. Then Shift select both of them, hold down the Option or Alt again, which will make another copy, and we'll drag that down. So now we got all 4 for that page. Shift click, now we get all 4 selected again. Hold down the Option or Alt key one more time and drag all 4 over with the Shift key down so that it keeps them perfectly aligned to the other page. So now I got all 8 frames that I need. And I left a little bit of space at the bottom for the captions, and that's the whole point, excuse me, that's the whole point of this tutorial. Okay, so at this point, before we talk about automatic captions, let's get into how we want, whether they're automatic or manual, how we want the caption to look. In other words, what font do we want? What do we want it to look like? What size do we want? What color? Any of the above. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag out a manual text frame. Doesn't matter where I put it, because we're going to delete it in a minute anyway. I just want to go ahead now and experiment with what a photo caption would look like. In other words, just from a typography standpoint. So I'm just going to type in, this is my photo caption. So all we're doing is we're just styling the text. We don't care about what it actually says. All right, so now that I got the text in place, now I can begin the process of styling it. So I can go in and choose, for example, what font I may want that in. And I like Proxima Nova. And I think I'm going to do Proxima Nova semi-bold italic. All right, so that's what my caption would look like. And of course, I can also specify a smaller size. I don't need them to be that big. So we'll make it 10 point. And of course, I can make it a color, make it whatever other style that I want. Put a line under, a rule under it, put a color background behind it, whatever I want. So at this point, now that I got that in place, I'm just going to go ahead and put my cursor anywhere in that, which is technically a paragraph. Go to my paragraph styles, and we're going to create a style based on what we just did. So I'm just going to go here and click Create a New Style, and call that style Caption or Captions. So it should have picked up everything I just did. It should pick up Proxima Nova semi-bold italic 10 point and anything else that I did. Left align, right align, center, however you want that to appear. All right, so now we'll click OK. We've got our paragraph style down. And now we don't need this frame anymore. Delete, bye-bye, gone. We just used that to get our captions paragraph style. That's all we needed it for. So now at this point, it's time to get the images ready that are going to go into those frames and generate these automatic captions. So I'm going to put the paragraph styles away for a moment. And where am I getting the images from? Well, that's up to you. I'm going to give you two examples. Excuse me. As a photographer, I use Lightroom. So all of my images are in Lightroom. But as a graphic designer, you might not be using Lightroom. You might use Bridge, or you might be getting the images from your client. So therefore, you're not really managing them in Lightroom. So I'm going to show you both ways to do it, and you pick and choose whatever way works for you. So let's pop over to Lightroom first. And here are the images that I want to work with in Lightroom. So I picked out the ones I wanted, including the one we used. I think that's the one we used as a background for the whole thing. And I've got, looks like I've got more images than I need. I've got 10 images in here. I don't need all 10, but it doesn't matter. We can use one as an example to show what happens when you replace one. Now, here's where the captions come in. In the metadata panel in Lightroom, there is a field for title. So for example, if I were to click on this photo, it tells me the title of that photo. So it tells me where that picture or where that location is in Iceland, in Icelandic, as a matter of fact. And then some are in English, Gullfoss Falls, Iceland. Doesn't really matter what, it's just really telling us what they are. This is the sunrise at Ice Lagoon in Iceland. All right, so you get the idea. I went through each photo, typed in the captions. Now I didn't type them in for all of them. For example, I don't think this one, nope, that one has one. Some of these don't have one, I think. Yeah, this one does not have one. So that's okay. Let's pretend we forgot to do it, because then I can show you where to do it inside of Bridge. So now I'm going to take all of these photos, except that one. I don't need that one we used as a background. I'm going to take the other 9, and I'm going to export them out. And when I say export, I can choose my settings. So what size do I want? What format do I want? But most importantly, include all the metadata, including those titles. If I include the metadata, then that information that I typed in Lightroom will actually get embedded inside the images themselves. So they'll just have the image, but the actual titles will be inside the metadata of those images. So now I can pick where I want them to be. So let's just go ahead and pick the desktop for now, and we'll pick a folder called Iceland. We'll just make a new folder called Iceland. Okay, so now it's going to take those photos, put them out at this resolution, which I can make whatever I want, and we'll say export. So take a moment to create those 9 JPEGs from the raw files and PSDs that I have, and getting them hopefully. Let's make sure we're connected to the server so I can get the actual high-res versions of those. And while it's generating those, I'll look at your comments for a second. And let's see, I see lots of hellos. So hello again. Still exporting, it's about halfway done. I see the progress bar in the upper left corner. Hello from Costa Rica, north of Spain. Lots of cool people from all over the world watching this and watching the progress bar, which we normally don't like to do, but I wanted to make it as realistic as possible. Let's see. Hello, Oklahoma. Hector, how are you? And Devash from India, if I'm saying that correctly. And okay, here are my 9 images. Okay, so it brought me my 9 images. It made my JPEGs. And again, these are just images. You don't really see that title inside of them, but they're inside the actual metadata. So for example, if I were to now, let's go back to the Finder. There we go. Let's take 8 of them, because we know we have 8 frames. And now let's go ahead and drag those into InDesign. When I drag them in, I'm going to get the place gun with all 8 images loaded, because I just did a drag and drop of 8 files. So I can literally just click, bam, bam. Oh, that's why I had 2 of those are almost the same. Okay, bam, 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 and bam. All right, so now I got all 8 images in the layout, but no captions came in because we haven't set that up yet. All right, so now how do we set that up? Well, we know, for example, that I believe this one has a caption. Let's show you how it works. with any image selected, or actually I don't even think you need an image selected to do this, so let me deselect. First thing you need is creating auto captions is a two-step process once you're ready to go. Step one, go up to your options menu, or object menu I should say, come down to captions and go to caption setup. That's why you don't really need one selected to do this. What you're doing here is telling InDesign what you want your automatically generated captions to be made of. In other words, where is it going to get that information from? So we're going to say that we're going to get it from the metadata inside the image, and we're going to use the field title. That's the one I used inside of Lightroom. And you can click and add more. You can say also bring in the, there's one I believe called description somewhere down in here. Yeah, description. So if I wanted the title and the description, I could bring in the title, description, the ISO, the lens that was used, the camera that was used, so forth and so on. So I only want the title, that's all I need. Now, where do I want it? I want it below the image. What paragraph style? This is why we created the style first. Oops. Did InDesign just quit on me? Oh no, InDesign just quit on me. No, InDesign, don't do that. InDesign crashed. Failure. Oh no. That second, yes, I know, thank you. Reopen it. All right, here we go. So luckily InDesign has a great recovery. All right, so anyway, back to where we were. We were going up to the object menu. And once we get completely back up, you know what? Let's just not depend on recovery. Let's go ahead and save this, just in case. And so we'll save this, and we'll save it to the desktop, and we'll call it Captions. All right, just in case. All right, so now we're back to where we were. We're going to go to Object, go back down to Caption Setup, and we hadn't finished this yet, so we're going to go ahead and choose Title once again. And now that we got Title, the last thing we're going to do is pick the Captions paragraph style that we created. So it's going to put the title below the image using the Captions style. And you could even group it with the image. So if the image moves around, the title moves with it. That's totally up to you. All right, so now we'll click OK, and nothing happens because, like I said, it takes 2 steps. That was step 1, just setting it up. Now, keep in mind, I just remembered one of these doesn't have a caption in it. So one of these at least won't work. I believe it was this one that doesn't have a caption in it because we didn't put one in it yet. So let's go in. We're going to continue knowing that one of these won't generate a caption. Now we're going to select all of these frames one more time, all the ones that have images in them. And now that we got them all selected, we'll do this last step. So that was part 1, the caption setup. Part 2, Object, Captions, generate live caption. You actually have 2 choices. Generate live caption or generate a static caption. And it's probably pretty easy to figure out which one's which. The static caption pulls the caption in one time, and that's it. If the image changes, the caption changes, it does not matter. That caption it won't update. Live caption means if I replace the image, we'll get a new caption, or if I update the caption in the image itself, because it's linked, we'll get a new caption. So either way, we'll get a new caption. All right, so we're going to say generate a live caption, and voila, we get all of the ones that actually had captions in them. So 2 of them don't have captions. This one doesn't have a caption, and this one doesn't have a caption because it says no data from link. But the ones that do have captions automatically come in. All right, so let's do 2 things. I told you I was going to show you how to do it from Bridge in case you wanted to add your titles that way. And 2, we'll see how to replace an image or update an image so that we get our caption. So I remember which 2 don't have them. So now let's go back out to where our files were. These are where we got them from. And now we're going to go ahead and drag that folder to the Bridge icon, and that will fire up Bridge. So here they all are in Bridge, and I remember this one doesn't have a caption. So all I have to do is go and find title inside that file, or that particular metadata panel for that particular file, and now I can put in a caption. So for example, I know this one had one. Yep. Let's go ahead and steal it. Let's copy and paste it. Copy it, go to this one, which has the title, and paste it in. And we'll say with little girl, because that's what she is. All right, so now that we've done that, we'll enter that one in. And I believe this one didn't have, no, it wasn't that one, it was this one. This one didn't have a title either. So we'll go ahead and put the title in. And we'll say that we want, this is here, we'll do this. Long, lonely road in Iceland. Obviously, the title can be whatever you want it to be. All right, so now that we've done that, I think I'm good. I don't know if I have to update this in Bridge. Let's see if it works. All right, so we'll go back to InDesign, and if we go to our links panel, it might tell me that the link's out of date, and it did. All right, so now it's telling me the link's out of date for this particular image. If I refresh the link, it updated them with their particular captions because it is live. All right, so now it says long, lonely road in Iceland, and we can get rid of our frame so we can see this better. And now we can go in and see the other one, which is the same thing, go false, falls Iceland with little girl. That's the one I typed in Bridge. So no matter what, the images will always generate a live caption on any of these frames. Now, in this particular case, I want to replace one of these because they're so similar. So let's go back to that one image we didn't use. Let's go back here. And we didn't use this last one. Yeah, we didn't use that one. All right, so let's go ahead and drag it back into InDesign. And let's drop it right inside that frame and look at what happens. It not only replaced the image, but it also replaced the caption because it's live. So now anytime I update my images, my captions update automatically. If I replace them in the layout, I get automatic captions styled exactly how I wanted them styled to say whatever they say from the metadata. So as long as the metadata, which is the key to all of this, is what you want it to be, then you'll be able to use it over and over and over again, whether you're searching for images in Bridge or Lightroom, or whether you're using that metadata in applications like InDesign to display underneath, above, right, left of your images as captions, titles, or whatever else you want. So hopefully you got something out of that. Sorry for the intermediate crash in between. But I love the way this feature works. I use it all the time when I want to do a layout like this, where I'm pulling in lots of images and I don't want to sit there typing the caption or the title under each one. If I've already done that as a part of the photography process, why not just use it over and over and over again in the design process? So with that said, I want to share one more thing with you, and that is right now, as I'm speaking, there is a design stream going on for motion design. It's at adobelive.com. So without me telling you more about it, let me show you more about it. Here we go. All right, I'm back. So today's the last day for that stream. So if you want to check it out, simply head over to adobelive.com and you'll be able to check it out and see the last presenters. They've been presenting since Tuesday, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all day long. You'll be able to see them present their last pieces of art in motion design today. So, and we do a 3-day streams twice a month on adobelive.com. So there's one going on this week, which means there won't be one going on next week, but there will be one going on the week after. So if you want to see those 3-day streams and just kind of maybe watch them or have them running in the background while you work to learn cool things, just head over to adobelive.com right after you leave this and you can check them out. Also, I tend to try to be here on the InDesign Facebook page on Facebook yes. The Facebook page for InDesign at least once a week. I'm also on the Creative Cloud page at least once a week. And tomorrow I'll be on the Creative Cloud YouTube account, which is youtube.com/Adobe Creative Cloud. So I forgot what my topic is tomorrow, but I know it's shooting HDR with Lightroom Mobile. So that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for all the comments. Let's see if I caught any last minute questions. Lots of hellos. Yeah, the recovery was fast. Thank God. And you're welcome for the Adobe Live info, if you're talking to me. All right. I think that's it. Okay. All right, so guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one, and head over to adobelive.com right now to catch them live in progress. Cheers, everybody. Take care.